with today's event exactly in the one minute, just 1 minute from now. So I request everybody to please settle down. And one very important request, please keep your cell phones on silent. Give it a rest for a while, please. Thank you. Anchor Deepa Srivastava, and I welcome everybody over here, ladies and gentlemen, from the insurance industry. Welcome everyone to the Insurance Conclave, powered by the Insurance Alerts, news aggregator for insurance industry, sponsored by the New India Insurance Company Limited. That's not all. India's largest general insurance company, Cigna TTK Health Insurance Corporation Limited, India's fastest standalone health insurance company, and Insurance Federation of India. Can we have a loud of applause, everybody? It's a bright early morning, and it's looking really refreshing right now with all you good-looking people sparing your precious time. Our first topic of discussion is bank assurance and online sales taking over the business of intermediaries, especially in personal line. Our panelists for the first discussion, I request you all to put your hands together and welcome on the stage Mr. Naval Goyal, CEO, PolicyX.com, Insurance Web Aggregator Private Limited. Can we have you on the stage, sir? Thank you for joining us. To chair the session, I next now request Mr. Jackson Jacob, Senior Vice President, Bank Assurance, Bajaj Allianz General Insurance Company Limited. Can we welcome you on the stage with a loud applause? Come on, everyone. Thank you so much, sir. Last but not the least, for the session, I request over here on the stage Mr. Vaibhav Jain, Vice President, KM Dastur, Reinsurance Brokers Private Limited. Can we welcome him on the stage, ladies and gentlemen, with a loud applause? Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. I request Mr. Naval Goyal to moderate the panel. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome our panelists on the stage. Thank you so much.
So morning everybody. Excuse me for the bad throat. Actually, Mumbai weather caught me, you know. So we'll be starting with the topic. The topic is very interesting. That online intermediaries and bank assurance, are they taking the business away from other intermediaries? So to start with, when we looked at the numbers, you know, this statement does not really look true. But I would like to start with, you know, how big an influence online is having in terms of insurance penetration and in terms of insurance selection. So if you look at the overall insurance industry, online does not even have more than 2% share of the entire personal lines business. But there was a report from BCG which says that, you know, the influence of online insurance is huge. It will be more than 20-25x of what it is today in the next 3 to 4 years, which is obviously, you know, it seems logical to me as well, because most of the aggregation, if you look at airlines, if you look at other industries, people don't really you know, buy air tickets from the direct SpiceJet website or Indigo website, because it's a lot easier to buy from Make My Trip or Yatra.com. So similar influence we are seeing in insurance, though currently it is still a sell product. Most people, they research online and then they contact their offline agents and buy insurance. So we were discussing this earlier. But having said that, we are seeing an uptrend, at least in the online segment, and you know, the market can explode at least 20-30x from where it is today. And most of the insurers are now coming up with online specific products. If you look at term insurance, so earlier, most of the insurance, life insurance which was being sold was traditional plans, ULIPs. But now, people are really buying insurance for the sake of insurance and not just tax savings because of the advent of online term insurance. So these are some of the thoughts that I would start with, and I would open the forum for discussion on further on these topics. Yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I have to, since this information came in late, so somewhere I have to refer the tables from the iPad. Quite an interesting observation. We actually were three of us were sitting today morning, some free time in the morning, and we were discussing about this. At the vertical, if you see from an overall perspective, it seems that online or say bank assurance sales are affecting the total personal lines industry of total personal lines business, and probably I would say is taking a share of the agent's pie. But contrary to that statement, what the figures indicate, and as per the figures available in the public domain and more specifically in the regulator's website, what's happening is that what interesting observations. What is happening is that the 1 second, please. Personal lines as a total line of business. Here I'm talking about only the general insurance business, not the life insurance on the life insurance space. So what I'm talking is about the general insurance space actually. And then if I see the industry clocked at around say 1,50,000 crores last year, and prior to that it was around say 1,20,000 crores. Personal lines of business, here I'm taking only the three lines of business, that is health, PA and overseas medical, because this is what the topic that has been given to us actually. So that clocked around 34,000, roughly around 35,000 crores last year. Prior to that last year, it was around 27,000 crores. I'm talking about the total industry, including all segments, from all the distribution channels put together, which works out to around around 27% or say 29%, roughly in the range of say 25 to 30% in the last 4 to 5 years. And if I see the distribution of this 27,000 crores amongst banca and other channels, or say agency to be in particular, none of them is in the degrowth path. So agency has been growing. Say agency's total business of personal lines was around say 10,000 crores. It was around say roughly around 10,300 crores last year. Prior to that, it was around say 8,700 crores, and prior to that, it was around 6,800 crores. And flatly, more or less, it has been a flat growth of around 10 to 12%. Whereas if I see the same contribution from the bancassurance space, it has been growing around say last year it clocked around personal lines from bancassurance grew by around say 3,600 crores. Prior to that, it was on 2,600 crores, and prior to that, it was on 2,200 crores. So this simply, but one thing which needs to be observed here is that when compared to the individual agents, personal line business in particular, probably in bancassurance has been growing at the rate of around say roughly around say 35 to 40%. When compared to agency or say multi-line agents, which has been clocking a flat growth of around 10 to 11%. Probably there can be two factors into this. One, because the base, if you see, of agencies around say roughly 3.5, 4 times larger than what bancassurance is having. Roughly last year it's around 3,500 crores versus roughly around 10,500 crores. But then one interesting observation again that comes here, prima facie what it appears here is that bancassurance has been, if both agency and bancassurance has been growing, that means bancassurance is able to see some new segments or new needs which probably the agencies have not been tapping. Otherwise, how would agencies should not be in a growth path. So this is what the first observation starts. And when you compare it to the industry also, when compared to the industry, when the last year the industry grew by around 17.5%, and personal lines has been growing by around say 25% plus. So this clearly indicates, and on the online space, I think roughly the industry size, the total industry size is roughly estimated to be around even though there is no clear segmentation available in any website or say any on the public domain, but what the industry expects, the industry estimates to be around say in the range of 600 to 800 crores. So as Neville was speaking in the morning, so that is hardly any percentage to the total industry which is around 1,50,000 crores plus. So I see one interesting observation. Again, the third, I would say this third observation which has been clocking is that, which has been coming to the mind is that, if you see the total business of banks, I'm not saying bank assurance, if the total business of banks, which is basically a function of your growth rate in deposits and growth rate in loans, last 11-year study, that means 2006-7 till 2017-18, we did a study and we found that the CAGR has been clocking around say 10 to 11%. Both on the, of course, the deposit been around say, roughly around say 11.6%, and the loans been around say around 11.1%. So there is a 0.5% difference. So agencies' growth in personal lines somewhere is getting linked to that growth in the banks, vertical growth and growth in loans and deposits. This is what is the first interesting observation that I can make. Probably with Neville and contributing more, I can add.
So, hello. Yeah. So, what is the intermediary's point of view? From this, that's basically the topic. If I can break this up into two parts, one is the online sales, as what he represented, and some facts and figures from a bank assurance side from Bajaj. As an intermediary, so although our name actually suggests reinsurance brokers private limited KM Dastur, but we are actually a composite broker, so we are into insurance as well as reinsurance. And if we take up bank assurance first, why is it succeeding? And I mean, bank assurance is not very new. It's been there in India for a long time, and worldwide, I think it's been there for decades. It's one of the important channels. It's nothing. But I think everyone has been coexisting worldwide. Recently, of course, the bank insurance channels have been, we have seen a lot of focus by the insurance companies on those things. The banks themselves are concentrating on, selling the products. What are the advantages, or, how do we see that? So from a bank assurance, say as a customer, I think they have a very big loyalty. The customers have very strong relationship with banks, especially the high-end ones. So the relationship managers of the banks are in constant touch with the customers, and I think that really helps in selling a policy. The second thing, basically what is currently happening is that the facilitation process is very simple. So a lot of banks are basically giving premiums on EMIs. They are funding the premiums on some of the loan-based. So for a customer's point of view, it is a bit more easier, to have a policy from the banks. The third thing is that I think they have, there's a big opportunity for some specialist products for the banks. We have seen loan-based products which are doing extremely well in the bank assurance side. On the life side, you have a credit life product which is sold along with loans. On the general insurance side, we have critical illness products which are being sold by most of the banks and NBFCs from the general insurance side. I think that's an excellent product from, for the customer, because he's taking a loan, he's taking a risk for a repayment, and if something happens to him, say a death or a critical illness, I think that protection is excellent. Banks are also funding that premium. They add it as a loan, and the EMI, the recovery is through an EMI. So I think that facilitation process, the fact that it is available straight away at part of the loan itself, I think it's an excellent product from that point of view. We have seen big sales in home insurance, for example. So whenever there's a home loan being given, I think most of the banks are insisting on home covers. And we have seen a, sort of a 100% take-up rate in home insurance. Normally, if you really ask people, most of the people probably who have not taken loans or who are not part of that would not have a home insurance policy today. Although we are from the insurance industry, but we really don't buy. We really feel, nothing going to happen to our homes. But, so these are the things which actually, from a customer's point of view are really good. They get access to all these products. And I think this segment is growing. As he mentioned, the loan book itself of banks are growing by 10-15%. So we will see a lot of growth on these products. But of course, there are some limitations on the bank insurance side also. The current model of banking is bank assurance is that it's on a corporate agent model and not a broker's model. So the choice is not there for a customer. He has to still buy, the policy which they are tied up with. So although the banks are allowed now 2 or 3 tie-ups, but they are really not giving a choice to the customer. So they are basically compelled. Second is what we have seen, and I'm not criticizing or saying anything negative, but we have seen it's basically being pushed. It's all being sold rather than being bought. The customers in most of the times or many times really don't know or understand what they are buying. With the relationship, with the loan, for example, they are just being pushed. So we have seen a lot of free look cancellations happening. They get convinced, of course, first, but later on when they come to know that a lot of money is going, they sometimes cancel. We have seen a bit expensive products being sold because the cost of distribution is extremely high in the bank insurance. Technical expertise is a bit limited over there because the banking executives are actually selling the insurance. So these are some of the limitation challenges. And of course, I think if the banks do address some of these points, I think it's an excellent thing, especially for some of the products which I mentioned, the loans and the home loan, for example, segment, the home products, etc. Now, as a broker, do we feel threatened? I think as a broker, I will not be able to sell a loan product, for example, whether the banks sell or not. I don't think so. It will be possible for us to do that. So it's a separate, a very niche sort of a segment, which anyway, as a broker, we may not be able to enter. Home insurance, we have been trying to sell for a long time, but we are not able to do it because people don't want. But with a home loan, automatically it's getting sold. So I think we really don't have a real challenge over there as a broker, because I think the product segment itself is a bit different. The opportunity for the brokers, for example, as we are a reinsurance broker, so it's not that we are only on the direct side, but what we have been doing is that we have been developing products for the insurance companies, which basically they sell through the banks. So it's not that the brokers are losing out from that point of view. So if we think big, if we think a bit differently, we can even be involved. So a lot of the banks which are selling today the critical illness products are actually developed by brokers, for example, and they do a reinsurance for that. So they can get involved on the reinsurance side also. It's not just the direct side. Coming to online, again, it has a lot of merits. I think it's, as he mentioned, although the numbers don't seem to be very big, but I think it's a growing segment. People are, getting into internet age where people are looking at, online things. But again, it has some limitations, of course. One is although the products are cheaper today, if you buy a term insurance online, is much cheaper than, say, going through so those things are there, but some of the challenges are also there. The presence, to make your presence in the market, it is a very expensive from a company's point of view. We have some success, of course, Policybazaar, which is, known a lot, but it takes a lot of money to, actually get publicity and, for people to actually come to your website to get it done. What we have seen is that people do go to the website, they do a comparison, but end of the day, a lot of people still want to talk to someone or meet a person, agent or a broker or whoever they feel, and then buy a product. So it's good again for simple products like term insurance, I think, which is doing very well out of the entire market. I think 70-80% of the things are from term insurance being sold online. Some of the health policies are getting sold, of course. Some of the motor policies, which are a bit simple to understand, I think people are still want to buy it. But some of the investment programs, for example, in life, or some of the other thing, it is still a bit difficult for people to understand all the terms, conditions, etc. online and buy it. So they still need some help. Of course, over a period of time, it would change. I'm sure with better ways to communicate to the customers, and we'll be seeing some big sales happening. Now, again, from a broker's point of view, I think we are there everywhere. So, as a broker, also we can, a lot of brokers have started online, themselves. So, we have idea allows the brokers to have a website of their own and do the same part. So, we also are part of that segment of distribution. So, just to conclude from my side, as an opening remark, I think. These are all new challenges which will keep coming. So, but I think every segment would grow. The entire insurance industry is growing, I think, by 10-20%, and we are, expected to grow a bit more faster on the general insurance side. On the life side, also, it's seeing some good growth over a period of time. And I think it all will coexist. I don't think so. Any particular segment itself will, fall back. I don't see agency, for example. Shares being cut. I think there's a space for everyone. Brokers do get or provide a lot of, advantages or positives. The bank assurance provides a lot of advantages and benefits. The online sales has, and I think all will coexist.
So, talking about product innovation, as he rightly pointed out, there's a very huge difference in the type of products being sold through different channels. So if you look at online, there are products which have a ticket size of 800,000 rupees, like dengue care, critical illness, health top-up plans. So there's a lot of product innovation happening, which is really not possible through offline agents, because it does not make sense for an offline agent to go serve a customer where his commission would be 100, 200 rupees. But online, these are attachment products. So a person who is buying a health insurance plan worth 12,000, 13,000 rupees, he might just, click on a checkbox and buy a top-up plan, or buy a critical illness or a dengue care, or for that matter, even two-wheeler. Earlier, most of the agents, they used to deny customers for a two-wheeler policy because he would make 50, 60 rupees on a two-wheeler policy. But obviously his fuel cost of going and getting a check was even higher than that. So what we are seeing is there's a lot of product innovation happening because of the online, because the distribution cost is, otherwise if you really market these products independently, the distribution cost wouldn't make sense. But since these products are being marketed as a attachment product, so there's a lot of benefit of launching these kind of products. Even for that matter, term insurance. Earlier, as I said, most of the products were traditional products where agents used to make a decent amount by selling even for a single customer. But now online products like term insurance are selling like hotcakes, because for an agent it won't make sense, because it's just 10, 12,000 rupees for a 1 crore cover. So he would hardly make 3,000, 4,000 rupees, whereas selling a traditional plan worth 1 lakh rupees premium, he would make 30, 40,000 rupees on that. So he would rather push those kind of products. But online, most people prefer these kind of term plans. And since there is no, friction online, these products are coming with a new advantage like EMI benefits. So most of the term plan today are selling on monthly mode, which comes to about 1,000 rupees or 700, 800 rupees a month premium. Now, if you talk about agents selling these products, obviously you would not go to a customer, take check of 800,000 rupees every month. That is just not possible from a operational standpoint. But online, these things are possible because the EMI is blocked through a credit card, or a monthly mode premium is paid through online channel, which is frictionless. So these are there's a lot of product innovation happening because of these frictionless channels. So as he rightly mentioned, all of these channels have their own pros and cons. Obviously, agents provide that personal touch to the customer, and the trust levels are very high. Whereas online, people are still not trusting us to that extent. So they come online, they research for a product, but ultimately the transaction is just 2-3% of the number of people who are actually looking for a product. So these numbers, obviously, we think that these numbers will grow significantly. You know, if the current conversion rate is 3%, 4%, these numbers can go up to 30-40% in the next few years. Once people become comfortable buying insurance online. Currently, it's more of research online and the health insurance policies and more of large ticket size policies are being bought offline only. So these are some of the challenges that the online industry is facing, but there are a lot of positives that we are seeing.
To add to my what my friend from Cambridge said actually, basically bancassurance, if you see, especially on the general insurance space actually, most of the products are value-based products. The propositions are very high because there's not much of mis-selling, because most of them are attached to are linked to the property lines of business wherever there is a home loan. And let me also correct you, in a home loan also, whenever there is a home loan, the almost as you said, around 95 to 100% penetration would be there as far as the property, that is the dwelling unit. But we are not getting much space on the home insurance front, that is the householders basically. So that needs to be a little bit more pushed because people, probably this Kerala example of Kerala, or say Jammu and Kashmir, Vizag, these are all probably indicators that that is one segment which has got a lot of potential to do. Today, if you see the penetration of home insurance, when I mean home insurance, it's basically the content insurance is less than 0.5% of the total number of households that we have. That is one thing which I wanted to bring in. And second one, what I also wanted to bring in is that probably bancassurance is gaining space because of the cost effectiveness. Because if you see today, we have got, just what Neville was saying, we have got covers such as innovative covers such as vector-borne covers actually, vector-borne disease covers actually. And then individual cybercrime. Let me also now I'll just briefly touch upon this vector-borne. These are basically diseases which like say chikungunya or dengue and all those things which are innovative covers, and the premium size ranges in between in the range of say around say 250, say, like up from ranging from 250 to 1000 or 1250 odd. This probably may not be of what you call would not be of to make a direct sale. Agents would not be interested because at the end of the day, what they would get would be less than what they would have to otherwise pay for the petrol expenses. Similarly, we have also gotten a product which is very innovative in nature, and first time in the entire, I can say in the entire Asia Pacific, is that the individual cybercrime. Here also we have got around, that's a very unique cover which covers a person against around say 12 to 14 types of various internet or online frauds that can happen, including phishing, online jamming and all those things. Here also the premium varies in between say 640 rupees and goes up to 6,500 rupees. What we have seen is that wherever there is a transaction, or just like what Neville was saying, wherever there is an option given to give the customer to buy the insurance at the check of a tick box, there the momentum is high. So that effectively what has happened, the cost of distribution is one factor which is what we call the distribution cost is one factor which is playing a major role. Secondly, coming to this online space, I was just going through a report of McKinsey some time back. In a country of around say 1.3 billion population that in the country that we have, roughly around say 61 million are only the people who have who do online banking transactions. And out of this 61 million, that is roughly around less than 4.6, 4.7% of the entire population that we have in our country. And out of these 61 million people, unique transaction reference would be less than 25%. The rest are all repeated transactions, like say you do a fund transfer or a bill payment. This is what is the statistics shows. Now, if I have to see it from the perspective of an insurance, actually, if banking is much more advanced in the digital space, if 61 million is the number of people that do online transactions, when I mean transaction means a complete roundabout transaction. That would be less than, even less, 5 or 10, the transaction done on the online for insurance space would be even less than that. Because here basically what happens is there is no repetition, because it's either annual or a maximum. If it is a life, it would be general, probably for the entire life or for the term of the policy. But when it comes to general, most of them would be an annual policy. And secondly, what happens is the terms and conditions probably are not that what you call, the customer would prefer to do some research online, do some what you call price comparison online. But then at the end of the day, when it is a substantial premium, probably he prefers the normal agency mode actually. So this is one interesting observation which is coming into online space. Of course, it is gaining momentum. The year-on-year growth has been around, say, roughly around, say, the expected industry average would be around, say, 100%. Last year we did around, the entire industry did somewhere around 600 to 800 crores. But this is one space or one segmentation which probably everybody has to look forward to because of the convenience and the transparency that brings in. But then, as I said, basically there is no pattern seen whether any particular vertical segment or distribution segment is cannibalizing the others. Because everybody is on the growth path, everybody's contribution mix is almost, say, a line, either growing or, say, there is an upward trend. So probably what is bringing in growth into the personal lines of business across all channels is basically the product innovation. And the second major player, which is second major factor, which is affecting is the distribution cost.
So, as I was mentioning earlier, and my colleagues here, panelists here, I think the future would be, at least in the short term, especially on the online side, I think it's more of a hybrid sort of a thing which we would be needing. People, not only comparing it, but the websites also providing some sort of support, say a call center where people can sell. I'm sure that's being done. And also, if they're able to provide people, executives from their company to go and meet the customer, of course, it needs a lot of distribution, number of people, etc. But I think in the short term, for it to really make a significant impact, I think it has to be a hybrid model. Even in bank assurance, as I said, to some extent, it is a hybrid model even today. Bank assurance on the direct side, the banks are selling, but a lot of these products are, as I said, created or made by, brokers on the reinsurance side. Without which probably the insurance company will not be able to provide those specialist products. So I think all would be a hybrid sort of a thing, where each supporting the other. And as he rightly mentioned, all are growing at this point of time. I really don't see much of challenge. And I think over a period of time, we'll really see how much impact it makes in terms of cannibalizing the other sort of a segment. But worldwide experience still shows, I think, that everyone exists. And today, even in developed markets like UK, US, where online has been there for long, bank assurance has been there for long. Some of the Asian markets like Japan, Singapore, bank assurance has been there for a very, very long time. But there are a lot of brokers, there are a lot of agents which are growing, doing well. And I think that's the sort of trend which probably would be in India.
So talking about hybrid model that he just pointed out, so we are already seeing that, web aggregators like us, we are not selling, end-to-end policies online. We have a bunch of agents who are calling upon customers, they're selling. So basically we have agents, and even agents are using services of, companies, aggregators like us. So if you look at the POS guidelines that have just come in, so, a lot of agents now, they are not limited to choices. With the POS guideline, they can sell n number of products. So actually, if you look at the entire industry, it's all merging into, one is using the services of others. So agents, now we are seeing a lot of agents who are becoming POS agents for brokers. And they have multiple products to offer to customers, which was the biggest challenge that the agents used to face earlier, that they had limited products. If you look at car insurance, they were able to offer just one or two companies. And since car insurance is a price sensitive product where you need to offer comparison to customers, they used to lose a lot of customers. But now with the POS guidelines, they are able to offer 4, 5, 6 insurance companies products, and this is already happening, the hybrid model. Web aggregators are using agents are using online brokers who are becoming sub agents of the brokers. So bank assurance, if you look at bank assurance, they are also using online models. So when you log into net banking or whenever you do an online transaction, they actually read the transactions and accordingly they offer products which are pre-approved on their websites, and they are actually generating leads online. They are not just selling offline through traditional models like through relationship managers. So what they are doing is they are collecting a lot of data. They are analyzing the transactions. Whenever you have a home loan, they already know that you have taken a home loan. Whenever you have some policy that you've bought, their RMs get a trigger that this guy is looking for a health insurance policy or a motor insurance policy. So everything is merging. They are using technology to a large extent to drive leads, and in turn they are using the offline channel to actually provide that trust and convert those online leads. So hybrid model is what. So as he rightly mentioned, we don't see any cannibalizing happening. The entire product basket will rise. So things like cancer insurance, dengue care, top-up insurance, small ticket size products, they will increase with channels like online or bank assurance online or direct channel for the insurance company. And agents will be more focused on the car insurance, health insurance, traditional plans, because traditional plans are hard to sell online, because the product payoffs are very difficult to understand, and most of the times agents land up doing a mis-selling rather than selling the right product. So there are entirely different product baskets available for each type of intermediary, and all of these will coexist and probably help each other grow rather than compete with each other.
When it comes to just to add to what Neville was saying, now one interesting observation that we are seeing is that in the bank assurance space especially, there's a lot of analytics which come into play now. Based on the transaction that the customer is doing, whether it be let's say whether it is a card is being swiped at a medical store or a hospital, the banks now have employed or deployed the necessary softwares and necessary infrastructure required to understand, to pitch in the right product. This probably is something which this has I would say around the last 2 to 3 years it has started, and this is gaining momentum. There is one thing which is coming into picture very clearly, is that which probably none of the other insurance intermediaries in the market were doing, especially because what happens, basically from bank's perspective, they have a closed circuit to sell only to the banking customers, whereas they cannot sell it from the outside normal customers. So they do a lot of deployment of this analytics, which is actually gaining a lot of momentum. And then coming to if we have to motor insurance business over a period of time, as we all are seeing, it is getting commoditized actually. Today everything, if you see most of the transactions for the renewals or say new buying is rarely there, but then rollovers or say renewals are happening most of the online place. But then there's a lot for individuals, there's a lot of space for them to get into the, I would say, the real personal lines of business, for example, householders. Basically, there is a totally untapped segment in the society, and there are a lot of catastrophes. If you see the NatCat exposures that we are getting in the last 4 or 5 years, there has been tremendously increasing year on year. And this is one area where, basically, at the end of the day, if you see, most of us, basically the upper middle class or the middle class segments, we have been, a lot of our income, the entire savings, or say most of our, the work that we do gets invested in our house. And that is something which we really do not cover as on. It means as on date, 0.5 is what is the penetration, and I think that also would be very less actually. So if there is some, if we develop a mechanism, or the agents are able to develop a mechanism to get in the home insurance space, individual cyber claim space, and also the motor, of course, would slowly get, because if you see in the most and rest of the other parts of the world, actually, if you see motor online, mostly it is getting a commodity. It is becoming commodity. There is no much of counseling or not much of advice required as far as motor insurance business, the way motor insurance is behaving. Probably this is one area where basically since the contribution mix of agents is more or less stable at around say 27-28% to the total business contributed by agents, and also similarly around 7 to 8% of the total industry the personal lines of business from agencies around 7 to 8% of the total industry. This is one thing which I think will lead to growth along with product innovation.
Yeah, talking about data, this is something that is really changing the game, because if you look at data analytics, that is, it's facilitating insurers to come up with a lot of new products, and they're able to do a lot of analytics. If you look at online insurance, the data that they collect is very, very clean. It's a self-filled proposal forms that the customers are filling. So they get a lot of valuable data from there, compared to the offline channels where agents do most of the form filling. So what they have observed is that the quality of business that they are generating online or direct through direct website, that is very, very high, because there's very less mis-selling happening, because the customers themselves are filling the proposal forms, and they are able to collect a lot of additional information of the customer to be able to cross-sell and upsell. Similarly, banks are using the gold mine that they have. They have huge number of data, customers' data along with the transaction data. So whenever a customer goes to a hospital and swipes his card, they know that this person probably does not have a health insurance policy, so he's a potential health insurance customer. Whenever a customer pays something in the garage, they have a, they can do analytics that probably he does not have a car insurance. So there's a lot of data analytics and innovation happening, and this data is leading to a better pricing of products, because insurance is more of a data-driven game where if you are able to price the product in a much better way, the profitability, the claim ratios are all under control. So there's a huge amount of data being collected by all the intermediaries, especially the online and the bank insurance, and which is leading to insurers coming up with innovative products with better claim experience, with better data analytics capabilities. So I think that's about it from the panels. Yeah, we can. Sure. We can take up any questions that you might have.
Yeah. No, you can just a mic be given.
Check.
I think sir here.
I am from Nike Insurance Broker. My name is Pramod Kulkarni. So far we have discussed in the panel about buying of insurance. It was mentioned that insurance, from banking especially, they sell it, not buy it. That was mentioned by you. As far as the online purchase is concerned, my data availability on the claims which are coming out of this, insurance sold by the bank and insurance purchased by the people. Anybody has a data on the claims turnaround time, settlement ratio, and how it is being handled?
So basically, the question you have raised is basically on the claims turnaround time and on the.
We talk about purchase.
Yeah.
Claims.
Can you just repeat the last sentence, sir, because the mic got disconnected? Yeah.
See, what we discussed so far was about the purchase of insurance. Purpose of insurance, not buying insurance cover. Purpose of insurance to see that the claim is settled properly at the right time, as far as possible, as quickly as possible as a client, if I'm talking as a client. As a broker, I talk about the client. So any data is available, the channels which the insurance being sold, the claims ratio, claims turnaround time, etc.
Sir, basically we did an analysis of, we keep on presenting to banks and also for new acquisitions. So basically when it comes to the claims, what you call turnaround time as well as also the settlement ratio, I would say as far as my concerned, or my company is concerned, our claim settlement in case of personal lines, especially on the personal line business, is roughly around, on the health line and the personal accident and on the overseas medical claim, Mediclaim policies is roughly around 97% plus. Reputation would be hardly any because most of the covers sold through bank insurance would be either having a maternity cover or basically a pre-existing cover. But however, having said so, there will be some of the claims which are still outstanding. Outstanding basically can be of due to 2 or 3 reasons. One, basically if there are reimbursement covers, but mostly if you see today, entire industry out of say 70 to 80% of the claims coming on the health, or at least a 60 I would say, to be on the safer side, 60 or 65% would be on the cashless basis, and rest 30-35% would be the reimbursement side, because most of the hospitals, today Bajaj has got we have got a tie-up with more than 6,000 hospitals pan-India. This roughly say 1 or 2% that we are talking about, which are what you call in the process of being getting settled or something like that, would be either due to want of documents, or it can be as silly as a reason as NEFT documents not been provided. But now with UPI-based integrations coming into picture, probably in another 1 or 2 months, I think, or say maximum in by the next quarter, with UPI integrations coming in, probably check or say NEFT documents may not also be required if the person is able to give the ID of on the UPI based actually ID. So this is one thing which we are working on. But to tell you, sir, to summarize your call, the turnaround time, cashless there is no turnaround time because that is directly paid to the hospital. But we have a turnaround time of not exceeding say 14 days in case of reimbursement claims. And around roughly 97 to 98% is the claim claim settlement ratio at any point of time.
What you said is about Bajaj Insurance, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about in general as a web aggregator. Does he have a data about banca insurance and the online selling?
So I don't have the data offhand right now, but what we hear from the insurer partners that we work with, they say that online insurance, the claim ratios are lower. Even though the process of claiming is the same, they have a centralized claim team. So if it is a cashless, it is a cashless. But if it is a reimbursement, it's the same process as offline. But the quality of business is better, and therefore the claim ratios are lower for the online segment. And that is why you have seen that the online term plans are priced lower than the offline term plans. And similarly, even health insurance, the pricing is not different, but the feedback that we get from insurers is that the claim ratio, there is at least 10% difference between the online segment and the offline segment because the fraud ratio is lower.
Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Sure.
Hi, I will just add on to what he was asking. He was asking for a segmentation data point of how much is the online business versus the claim ratio, how much is the bank insurance business versus the claim ratio, and how much is the agency versus. So he was talking about a segmentation. That was his question, I think, which was not answered. And one more question which I have is on the collaboration point of, because if you see a lot of online people have, as what Mr. Dattu said, that a lot of business on online needs a lot of investments. And like Policy X has already made a platform which is available through a POS for an agent or a broker, why we are not looking at a collaboration and reducing the cost? Because anyway, all the web aggregators are putting their money on the portal, which can be used by the other agents besides the POS, because POS has a different guidelines and the products will come up. Today we are only having 12 to 13 products available on POS. Not all products can be sold.
Yeah.
Of course, term in the life insurance bracket is doing well, and in general insurance, motor and travel is doing well. Other than that, retail market, we don't have special policies like professional indemnity, which we all as a brokers, we have to have it compulsory, but surprisingly, the private insurance companies are not taking those insurances. So my request was that why are we not collaborating all the channels and feed each other?
So I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly, but you mean to say that there should be an online platform where all insurers can come and build an online platform which can offer all the products?
Policy Bazaar is the pioneer in online comparison platform, and if he has already invested so much of money And if some set of small brokers and a mid-sized broker wants to get into the policy comparisons, they can buy their platforms on the cost. So Policy X is also, can reduce his maintenance cost on a daily basis, and he gets a revenue from it.
Yeah, I think
And the other broker doesn't have to use his brain to make it accessible for building up from again. So we are increasing a lot of man hours and wasting a lot of country money.
Right. So I think this is already, something that will probably come up in the next few years, like what has happened to the travel industry. So you don't have to integrate with all the airlines in the world to start a travel portal. So there is a central agency, there is one company which offers a single API through which you can get bookings done for all the airlines in the world. So similar thing, even when we are building a platform, we feel the need for such a platform, because obviously, integrating with each insurer is a huge task and a lot of manpower, because every insurer currently, they don't have a common set of APIs. So one insurer might need X number of variables, the other insurer might need Y number of variables. So that common application form has to come up sometime. But again, last few years we were expecting that products will get simpler, with the term plans, etc. So but what we have seen is term plans are again getting complex. So companies are launching term plans with 10 variants, 12 variants. So which makes our task tougher, because showing products on a single platform requires some common parameters. So comparison is actually getting tougher. So we have to show products which are very much unrelated on the single platform. So one thing which is required in the industry is that the products get simpler over time. Should be definitely one API, but that's an open market. So I'm sure somebody will be working on that kind of a product. But currently, I think insurers are not really ready with these kind of APIs. So this has to be a joint effort by some company and then all the insurers who can actually integrate with one company, and then that API can be offered to everybody in the market. So it will be definitely easier and cost effective.
But can we not look at a collaboration of similar to a POS concept? Like in the POS concept, the agent has to do that number of hours with that broker and get attached to use their platform. So is there not a way that a Policy X and a Policy Bazaar can think about that, yes, my platform is ready, I have 22 companies tie up on my portal, but if you as a broker has only 10, say, attachments, you can use my platform and take the benefits. In turn, Policy X and Policy Bazaar may get a revenue as a fee from that user, and the user is getting upfront ready market available for him to use the platform.
Right. So this is a good business opportunity, actually, I would say. But the thing is, there is a lot of regulation in place. So if you are offering the platform to somebody, his code has to go to the insurer, right? And then there is a problem of data security again. Because if somebody is tying up with Policy X to book his own customers' policies, he would be concerned with data security. He would really not trust Policy X. So there has to be some company which is independent, which is not into the business of insurance, but only as an intermediate, tech platform. If that can be done, I'm sure it must be, somebody might be working on it currently as we speak, because this is the need of the business, yes.
And to answer your first part of the question which sir was asking, let me assure you that the claims, especially in the general insurance segment, actually, life insurance I'm not much aware, but on the claims side, on the bank insurance front, actually, has been steadily been increasing over the years. Because it is basically a factor of two reasons. One, basically the level of knowledge or the level of awareness amongst bank insurance customers is also increasing. Second, if you see the type of products that have been brought in, for example, now today we have got a very simple policy called as hospital cash, actually. It is not anything related to the medicals or say the nursing fees or say the room rent charges which are charged. It is actually basically a policy which covers your incidental expenses. For example, if a person is hospitalized for a day, so we have got covers starting from 250 rupees per day up to 5,000 rupees per day. And it is simply flat that if a person is hospitalized for 7 days, so he gets 5,000 to 7, which is around say 35,000 rupees. So such type of products are also bringing in what we call a lot of claims. And we are also happy because at the end of the day, if the real moment of truth for any insurance companies at the time when you are paying claims. So the one thing which is coming up is that of course claims are necessary and claims are being, let me assure, the claims are coming in, we are also settling. Because without claims, the growth of the industry is also not possible, because then it is not a value for money proposition for the end user, that is the customer in this case actually.
This is Kamakya from New India Assurance. So I would like to know that the coexistence you're talking about, the online purchase and this bankers, brokers and agencies, with the present determinants intact, how do you see after 10 years down the line, there is definitely a struggle between the two entities. How do you see that after 10 years, the struggle of coexistence, it's going to increase, decrease, or as he has discussed, keeping everybody as platform? How do you see the technology is going to bring them together?
Over a period of say next 5 to 10 years, what I see is that analytics will play an important role, especially on the bancassurance space, because bancassurance has got limited set of customers. They are supposed to do business with only their set of customers that they have. And on the online space, actually, if you see, there also the type of products being sold, because basically it emanates from the reason that the type of customer who reaches online is slightly different from the type of customer we have in other traditional models, like say bancassurance or agency or broker. Here the customer is more educated, buys what he wants, does a research on the online space or on the websites, and then probably buys it through on the online space itself, or basically buys it from some other customer. But then, I was just looking at the last 5 years data also. Data plays an important role. Last 5 years, because there has been a lot of changes in the technology, on the technological front that has in the last 2-3 years also. If you see, for example, in travel insurance now, Bajaj Allianz has got a technology where the claimant even does not need to raise a claim. For example, what we have done is that, suppose let's say we have tied up with the aggregators, travel aggregators, whereby you also get, suppose let's say in travel insurance, if the flight is delayed by more than 2 hours, you are automatically eligible for a delay in takeoff. So then a message is sent to the customer that we understand that your plane has delayed by more than 2 hours, so would you like to prefer a claim? So this is basically a blockchain technology which has come into picture. Technology, and similarly for example, in the case of motor insurance also, we have got data analytics through what we call it Drive Smart, basically nothing but HBD technology, whereby in the event of any accident, even the claimant does not need to inform the insurer. I see that in the next, probably in the next 10 years, if we have to, it will be too long a time, because technology is evolving by the day. If you see the last 3 months has been what we call UPI integration, all those things have been turned around. The payment mechanism has gone really what we call turn around the tables. I would say if you have to, that would be too long a time to say, 10 years would be too long a time to say, but then if I have to predict something for the last, seeing at the last 5 years data, yes, all the channels would exist, flourish to grow, and then, but then the products, the dynamics of channels, and ultimately the customer requirements or the needs would be different to different segments actually. Because brokers, what my colleague from Kendra was saying, a broker's requirement would be to satisfy more clients who are more on the technical side, probably on the what we call project side. There they would be paying a lot more role, or will have to contribute more. Whereas a customer who requires more of on the health space, or say somewhere a person who needs what we call with EMI payment mechanism, or say to pay in convenient payments, bancassurance would be the best channel. Where the customer needs more of a personal touch, probably agency that is how things look like now from the seeing in the past 5 years data.
Thank you.
So one thing that, that I feel will be 100% true is that it will be completely paperless. So whether it is agency or online intermediary or bank assurance, there will be no cover notes, there will be no, paper-driven insurance policies. It will be completely paperless. Every agents will have a, smartphone kind of a thing where they can book policies. And one thing that agents currently lack is that, so I feel that there are two things that any insurance seller requires. One is good bouquet of products, and the second is trust. So currently agents lack good bouquet of products and knowledge, obviously, and trust is there. Web aggregators lack trust, but they have good bouquet of products. So both will make some headway into the other. So agents will probably come up with a better bouquet of product because of the POS regime, and they will be able to sell. I'm sure IRDA will also allow more and more agents to sell multiple companies' products. And web aggregators, they will gain trust. So definitely whatever the one intermediary is lacking currently, 10 years down the line, some headway they will make in each of these areas. But all will coexist because all of these things are required. You need somebody to talk to, you need trust to buy insurance, and you need the good product. So all of these, once these things happen, customers will be the biggest beneficiaries because ultimately only good products will sell.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
So any more questions? So I think we can close this discussion. So, the key takeaway is that none of these channels are cannibalizing each other. All of these will coexist because all of these channels, whether you look at, other countries or developing countries like India, all of these channels are important in their own respect, and, all of these channels can coexist and help each other grow.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for this wonderful discussion. Can we have a loud applause for the gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen? Come on. Thank you so much for a wonderful first session. We look forward for the rest. Can we please request you to please join us in the audience?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
बीमारी में गुदगुदी बनते हैं और ठीक होने पर मजबूती। आपके अपनों के जैसे सिग्ना टीटी के हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस भी आपकी हेल्थ के लिए करता है थोड़ा ज्यादा। बीमारी में प्रोटेक्टिव हीलिंग बेनिफिट्स और सेहत में प्रोएक्टिव लिविंग प्रोग्राम्स। सिग्ना टीटी के हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस। हेल्थ है तो लाइफ है।
आँखों में रोशन उम्मीदें ली, मन में विश्वास भर हम चल दी। खुशियों का एक नया संसार रचना है, नया इंडिया बनाना है, नया इंडिया बनाना है। पलक की ऊंचाइयों को हमें छूना है।
न्यू इंडिया एश्योरेंस में हम हर वो कदम उठाते हैं जिससे आपके सपने सच हो सके।